from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
North Dakota U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp says she had a productive meeting with President-elect Donald Trump today. She said nothing about the speculation that she could wind up with a position in his administration.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The first-term senator is one of a handful of elected Democrats who have made the trip to Trump Tower.
So why is Heitkamp being considered, and what could this mean for North Dakotans? Valley News Live's Samantha Jo Roth from our Washington bureau has the story.
North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp accepting a meeting with President-elect Donald Trump in New York City.
When the president-elect calls, you agree to meet.
The senator would not tell reporters on Capitol Hill whether she would take a post in the Trump administration. But when I sat down with her after the election, she expressed a willingness to work with the president-elect.
After we choose our new leadership, it's critically important that everyone involved put their best effort forward to make this country work.
The senator offering an explanation as to why Democrats nationwide performed poorly.
I believe that for too long, particularly people in my party have ignored rural America, and it's time we correct that.
So what is President-elect Donald Trump's motivation in considering Heitkamp other than the appearance of reaching across party lines?
It would open up Heitkamp's Senate seat, probably would allow Republicans to win that seat in a special election.
Political expert Kyle Kondik says Heitkamp's departure would be a further blow to Democrats' hopes of retaking the majority in 2018. But accepting the position could also benefit the North Dakota senator who faces a tough re-election in 2 years.
She's probably going to draw a top-tier opponent. I know that at-large Representative Kevin Cramer has sort of been talked about as maybe considering running, whereas if she were a cabinet secretary, she could be in office, be in the job for as many as 8 years potentially.
But Kondik also admits Heitkamp still has the upper hand in 2018 because of her status as the incumbent and a changing political climate.
And I think it makes her prospects for re-election a little bit brighter because those same dynamics that work against the president's party, that worked against Obama in 2010 and 2014, now potentially work against the Republicans in 2018.
Now, I reached out to the senator's office. They would not specify which cabinet position was being discussed, but in a statement, the senator reiterated her willingness to work with Donald Trump in support of North Dakota. In Washington, Samantha Jo Roth, Valley News Live.
Also in that statement following today's meeting, Senator Heitkamp said she and President-elect Trump discussed a number of issues, including the Dakota Access Pipeline.
We now know the name of the pilot in yesterday's deadly small plane crash just south of Fargo. 55-year-old Hans Allness was the only person in the two-seater plane. Allness was with the Fargo company Weather Modification Incorporated. They are a cloud seeding and atmospheric company.
According to flight data, the plane was traveling at about 170 miles per hour when it crashed, and that Allness had reported an in-flight emergency. Today, Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop talked to neighbors living near the crash site.
I didn't know for sure, but I just knew that whatever happened, somebody's very, very, very hurt.
Mara Solberg says she was in her home when she heard a small twin-engine plane crash just 200 yards from her window. She rushed outside and saw the dark black smoke billowing. She felt helpless as she saw helicopters above.
And they were circling around, and I thought, they're trying to find a place to land, and I can't even offer them that. I don't know where they can land. And we got to get this person some help.
Emergency officials began to arrive to the scene.
I could hear the sirens, and there were red lights, and everything was happening.
Solberg says she was in shock, and part of the night was a blur from all the commotion.
I've always looked at the news and seen it as what happened to the person, but I've never thought about the people running and the people upset, and now I know how they feel.
She says she hasn't been to the crash site yet, but has a personal connection to it and the pilot's family.
We have a place that's hallowed, and their family is welcome to come on here anytime, forever.
Near Wild Rice, Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
The Federal Aviation Administration, which is investigating, is asking any witnesses or individuals with video of the crash to contact them.
Tailgaters should have pretty decent weather tomorrow. We certainly know it could be a lot worse. First of all, though, let's find out about tonight. Hutch?
Well, tonight we still have a few areas of flurries showing up on the radar, and even though there isn't widespread flurry activity, we've had a few in the Fargo area as well. So the clouds, the gray, weather does continue. Temperatures will be fairly steady in the 20s for most of our area this evening, holding on to 32 degrees this hour in Grand Forks, mid-20s already in Bemidji, Baudette, and Wadena. Jamestown also at 25. Our temperatures will slowly fall through the 20s this evening. Wind will shift directions as we head into the weekend. That means a subtle warm-up. I'll have details on that. We'll talk about our next chance of snow, and we've got our eyes on some Arctic air that's heading our way. Details on all of that here in a few moments.
All right, thank you, Hutch.
One person is still trapped inside a collapsed building in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Earlier, a woman and a dog were rescued. Emergency crews arrived at the Copper Lounge building. It happened at mid-morning. Officials say that they're working very quickly but carefully, fearing that the building could shift or further collapse as they sift through mounds of debris. Temperature is also a concern for the trapped victim. Crews are using cameras to search for a missing person in that rubble. It's still unknown what triggered the building to collapse, but officials say general construction work was going on at the time.
A 19-year-old Bismarck man was originally facing multiple felony counts of child pornography here in Cass County. He was an NDSU student at the time. Investigators tracing his computer's information back across the internet to a campus dorm.
But Talon Bitts won't have to register as a sex offender and got off with only probation and several $100s in fines, originally facing decades behind bars.
So what happened to reduce the charges and sentence? Valley News Team's Bradford Eric has our investigation. Bradford?
Former NDSU student Talon Bitts was originally facing 35 years in jail and or $50,000 in fines. He instead pled guilty to 2 lower charges, a third being dismissed. I contacted the Cass County State's Attorney's Office. Birch Burdick telling me there's a variety of ways a case can be charged and resolved, adding that he places a great deal of responsibility upon his attorneys, relying on their discretion. I asked Burdick, on the surface, this appears to be your office not taking a strong stance on child pornography. He said that's not the case at all. This is not reflective of how his office handles these cases. What we do know is that the charges were amended, attorneys citing a portion of the North Dakota Century Code that says the court may deviate from requiring an individual to register if the court first finds the individual has not previously been convicted as a sexual offender or of a crime against a child. And a criminal background of Bitts shows no other convictions or charges in the state system. That's at least one possibility of what happened, and the original attorney on the case has since retired from the state's attorney's office. Andrea?
Thank you, Bradford. We have posted more of the original police investigation online. Just click on this story at valleynewslive.com.
We're all familiar with the flood risk associated with the Red River, and that means it can cost more to build a home. So cities across the Red River Valley try to offset the price with tax breaks.
However, a Fargo City commissioner isn't happy about what he thinks are tax exemptions that don't make sense, claiming Fargo government leaders want to give tax breaks to people who build in areas prone to flooding. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker investigates to see what's really going on.
First of all, Commissioner Gehrig came in late, didn't really understand the whole discussion.
Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney and City Commissioner Tony Gehrig are at odds over tax incentives discussed in a recent tax-exempt committee meeting. Here's Gehrig's take on it.
They're kicking around the idea of, well, it costs more to build in a flood zone because of the basement and those type of things. So we should exempt more of the home's value if you do build in that zone. Well, why are we incentivizing building in an area where you shouldn't be building in the first place, right?
Which wouldn't make sense because the city is buying out homes that will more than likely flood, homes like this one in South Fargo. However, Mahoney says Commissioner Gehrig doesn't know what he's talking about.
I was very disappointed. Yes, he was late because that's not at all what we said. But when we said the code words of their flood proofing, it costs more money, $4,000 to $6,000, the assumption on his part, oh, you're building in a floodplain. No, we're building where we have developing lots, and they have to bring it to the proper level so they're not so they do the criteria that they're not have to get any flood insurance.
Mahoney says right now, tax exemptions for homes in Fargo go up to $150,000, but the average price of a home is around $240,000. So they may in the future ask the state to raise the exemption level up to $200,000.
When you do these things, tax exemptions, it helps grow the community, and that's exactly what it's done.
Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
Mayor Mahoney says until there's certified flood protection, like the FM diversion project, everyone is building in a floodplain and their homes must follow the city requirement of being above 41.5 feet.
Looking for some holiday spirit this weekend? Later on Valley News Live at 6, details on Christmas on the Prairie.
Friday flurries flying for some, but as the weekend arrives, warmer air does as well. I'll have details on just how warm, and we'll let you have an update on that Arctic air mass heading our way right after this.